concept of, as she said, the isolation when your friends and family, may not be your first supporters. It happens for some business owners, but that is not typically the case. So let's move right into the mental aspect of, as you said, you have a theory on why that is. So let's dig into that a little bit, if you will, Queen.
Awesome. So I heard this analogy for fail. There's always an analogy for everything, fear and all this different stuff. But the one I heard for fail that Kimberly literally just tapped in on is called, it's a first attempt in learning, FAIL, first attempt in learning. And I use that all the time now. I'm like, oh, my God, that's exactly what a fail is. It's your first attempt in learning. Sometimes a second and a third, but it's the fact that you took the initiative to try. So here's my analogy on the friends and family thing. So I believe, this is Dr. Lanee Javet's belief. I didn't read this nowhere. This is just what I believe, that the reason why our friends and family do not initially support us when we first launch our business, besides the fact of what Kimberly said, they're not our customer, one of the reasons is they're too close to us. Your friends and your family, they know too much about you. They know if your car broke down. They know if your baby daddy is tripping. They know if you went to school and dropped out. They know your work history. They know your personal business. They just know too much. If you start stuff, then you stop. If you try and you don't succeed, if you got bad dating, whatever it is, they know too much about you. So when you go to start a business, they are looking at you from the perspective of, is she gonna do this? Is she gonna finish this? Is he gonna do this like he did school? Is he gonna bounce a check? Like they're judging you based on your whole life's experiences, and so they kind of take a hands-off approach to you. The reason why somebody in the street that does not know you will come up and support your business is because that's all they know. All they know is Kimberly does taxes and that she does them well. So it's easy for them to come up to her and be like, oh, can you help me with my taxes because I see your track record. It's easy for somebody to come up to me and be like, oh, well, can you help me with your business? Because that's all they see. They don't know nothing about my past, my history. So then what happens is as the world starts to love on you and support you and you start making business and you stay consistent, your family and friends start to see you and notice you and be like, oh, what you doing over there? How you doing that? And then they start to support you, but they have to first see that other people are supporting you. And I believe that is because they're just too close to us. They know too much of our business, whereas somebody off the street, they don't know anything about you except what you do, your expertise, how you show up. And if you meet the objective that you say that you'll meet. And so sometimes your family and friends will be your client customer based on the fact that they need your skill, but a lot of times they're still just trying to see if you are who you say you are, if you're going to do what you say you're going to do, and what do the other people around you say, do, believe, or feel about your business first.
No, absolutely. I would add to that, if you will. Again, I love to get into the psychology of it, and so and again, that can hurt if you, again, when you jump off into business and it seems like, in a sense, your family and friends are supporting, especially if to add to this conversation or add to this point that's kind of been made here, but especially if the problem you even solve is one that can help them. So then it becomes even more frustrating. But to your point, Lanee, your cousin, y'all may have taken baths together when y'all were children. Like, they really know who you are, and it's not to, in a sense, let them off the hook, but it's harder for them to see you as something else. Like, even when people sometimes when you think of like maybe like a athlete that's a superstar or whatever, and sometimes if we get to know the behind the scenes on some of these major athletes, you'll find out that their family sometimes was the circle that kept them humble, because they knew them, like I said, from taking a bath in the bath together. You know what I mean? From falling in the sand, skinning your knee, like you know them so well that they don't see you as the superstar that the world sees you. And a lot of superstars in music and athletes, they love when they have a family around them, but it works that same way, to your point, in business. And here's the other part of it too, especially when you, as you said, fail, first attempt at learning. I love that. When you're first starting, the other aspect is, even as a business owner, if you mistakenly have that assumption that they will be the first to support you, the other part is you ain't that good at selling it at that point. So you're also saying, well, you're my family and friends, you should support me, but you're not even possibly that good at selling it. Or the other aspect is you don't sell like you would to a stranger. Like, there's a professional approach that you take to a stranger, and sometimes because you assume that your family and friends will support you, you're a little lax in how you present it as well. So it's a two-way street in how that goes, And to your point, Lanee, when you show that you are who you say you are, then sometimes they will flip. They may not be the first to support, but will become your biggest supporter when the world realizes, you know what, Lanee, you are that. Kim, you are that. Kim, any thoughts to add into this? Because I don't know if you experienced that as someone being, doing taxes for 25 years. I don't know if you experienced that isolation from your family and friends not supporting it first. Any thoughts on that as well, Queen?
Oh yeah. I had to get over that hurdle early. When your friends and family, your immediate friends and families don't believe that you are who you say you're projected to be, and they actually go to other people and use the same service that you offer as a business, that's like a dagger to the heart. Immediate, same household. I'm like, oh. So I had to get over that early. I just had to realize, and that's why I started to understand that business is a problem, because my immediate family member, same household, okay, went to another professional. It was only because that person specialized in something that they needed help with, and my expertise level was not there yet. I didn't see that at the time, but that's how I began to reshape my perspective of what a business is. Like, wait a minute, he should have gone to somebody that can help solve his problem better than I can, and I have to let my ego down and say, you know what, I'm not the best person for this, and if I'm truly in business, I want them to go to someone who's better capable of serving them, even if it's not me, and even if I offer that same service. So I got that head on really, really quick, and that has helped me understand, get to know my customer, wanting to understand people better, the psychology of people and their needs, and match my expertise and skills around their needs and just meet them where they are. Eventually I might be able to, I was able to help, my family member, but at that time I couldn't. So it's not personal, and a lot of times it's not personal. It's just that you may not just be that in their eyes at that moment.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I remember when I first really got heavy in this radio game or podcasting game. I started on radio before I got into quote-unquote podcasting. And so once I got to podcasting, I could see my numbers and everything like that. And I'd be like, dang, South Carolina ain't even in my top 10. I'm from South Carolina. That's why I grew up 18 years. They top 5 now. They didn't creep their way up there. But back in the day, boy, I used to be hurt. Like, why nobody where I'm from listen to my show?
Right.
So I definitely have been through that. For all the